What's up, everybody? It's me, Pastor Billy, here for your Sunday sermon recap. Excited to unpack this one with you, so let's get started. The meaning behind our series, Rooted, that we're going through this whole year is really the idea that in order to be grounded in our faith and in order to really understand what is happening in the New Testament, we need to look back at the Old Testament. We need to look back so that we can look ahead. Because Jesus, so often in the New Testament, he quotes scripture. He quotes words that were written thousands of years earlier in the Old Testament. And so we're foolish if we don't go back and look at those passages, look at those stories. And in turn, doing so gives us such a new lens and a new insight as we read into the New Testament, as we read those words that Jesus is saying, that Paul is saying. Looking back gives us a new perspective as we look ahead and really deepens that meaning. And so that is really our heart for the entire year, what we're going through, and really the why behind it. Throughout this series, we've already gotten to talk about the flood in Noah's Ark that we read about in Genesis. We've talked about the Passover and the significance of that. And we're going to keep moving forward into talking about things such as the Ark of the Covenant found in the book of Exodus. We're going to be talking about leprosy, which, yes, is talked about in the New Testament, but also is talked about in Leviticus, where guidelines are put in place for dealing with leprosy. We're going to be talking about people like Jonah and Jeremiah. And then after the first year, we're going to get into more of the Levitical law. So we're going to be talking about the different types of offerings that there were, guilt, the sin offering, the different things like that. We're going to look at the prophets prophesying the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Jesus, and then we're going to end the year talking all about Jesus, who Jesus is, and wrap up the year that way. These two passages that we looked at on Sunday, really there's about three similarities that I would highlight. One, we have the fact that both of these men were born at a time when boys were not welcomed. In Moses' time, the Israelites were growing in number, and Pharaoh did not want that. He was threatened by the growth of the Israelite people, and so he said, kill all boys that are born. That's what he told the midwives, kill every boy that is born. And then on Jesus, when Jesus comes around, Jesus is born and Herod finds out. And so to eliminate Jesus from the picture, he says, go around killing every boy 2 years or under and wipe them out. Get them out of here. I don't want Jesus here. I don't want Jesus anywhere in the picture. And the reason why those are similar is because both of these situations, these boys being born, were a threat to the king's reign. And he didn't want that. You also then have the fact that both of these boys were hidden by their parents. You have Moses, who's hidden for 3 months by his mother, away from Pharaoh. He's hidden for 3 months, then thrown into a basket into the Nile River. Then Jesus, on the other hand, is hidden by Mary and Joseph for 3 years, away from King Herod, until he's brought out into the light again. And the significance there too, I think, is the value of the number 3 and how we don't want to miss that. Moses hidden for 3 months, Jesus for 3 years, and Jesus eventually is hidden in the grave for three days until he rises again, until we are given new life. I didn't mention that on Sunday, but honestly, I think it's a big key that we don't want to miss. That's not an accident that they are hidden for 3 months, 3 years, and then later Jesus is hidden for 3 days. And then lastly, the similarity between the two is that both of these men were influenced by ordinary people when their lives were at risk. You have Moses, who was saved by the midwives, who very easily could have killed him at birth like Pharaoh had commanded, but feared God and chose not to. You then also have Jesus, who could have easily been killed inadvertently by the Magi when they went back and told Herod where Jesus was, but instead they feared God and they knew who Jesus was and chose to go against that and save his life. Ordinary people, not people you would expect, but but people who made one small decision at the time that steered the ship of both of these men's lives and had a huge impact on it. Clint taught me a lot of things. He taught me what it means to love Swedish fish and love some Twizzlers. But man, Clint taught me a lot though, and he first taught me what it meant to love the Lord. What does it mean to love the Lord in the midst of your imperfection and embrace your imperfection and knowing that your walk with God isn't going to be perfect. You're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. But it's that daily reliance on God that is so key, and taught me what it means to get in the Word. I mean, he was teaching us when me and my buddies, when we were 15 and 16 years old, he was teaching us, hey, let's go through the book of Proverbs. Let's go through the book of Psalms. Let's go through this, because these are real tools that you can use in your walk with Christ. He taught us what it meant to feed your relationship with God and to love the Lord in the midst of that imperfection. And then too, he taught me what it meant to love people, to go out of your way to serve people, go above and beyond what people might ask of you, and don't be afraid to just step out there, step in where there's a need, and serve and love people and lead them in the direction that they need to go. It was invaluable information. I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, as I did when I was 16, but man, I'm forever grateful for those lessons, and they continue to impact me. Like I said on Sunday, they impact me in how I love my family, how I love people here at our church, and just not being afraid to step in and go all in. And then also I know it's going to impact me deeply when I get to love my son here shortly, and to teach him these same things when he's older. When he's older and in the same stage that I am, I hope and pray that I have the opportunity to pass those lessons on to him. And I pray too that he has people in his life like Clint who's able to do that for him as well. Thanks for joining us here on the weekly recap. Hope you enjoyed Sunday as much as I did, and hope you're able to find some ways to steer someone's ship in your lives. Maybe it's at your job, maybe it's at home, maybe it's to a friend, maybe it's here at the church. However you're able to step out and steer someone in the right path. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. It doesn't have to be a miracle, but one small act can change your life. And so I hope that you're able to find ways to do that in and around this community and wherever your community is. Remember, River Church Youth meets every Wednesday at 6:31 p.m. in our multipurpose room. And if you know any middle schoolers or high schoolers, please tell them to check us out. And if I can connect with them, I'd love to do so. I love you, church. I'm grateful to be a part of this community, and look forward to being with you guys this Sunday. Peace.